All right, hello. How's everybody doing? It is the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 19, I believe. We are going to the gym. Right now we are in the, holy shit, that's a big ass pothole. We are going to the gym right now. It is the last session of 2023, and it's going to be a beta test. It's actually going to be, I'm going to try out the newest the second lower body day that I have on my new regimen or program. There you go. So in the new program, which I hopefully have the video up by now, that I will have on the channel, and I'm doing it as a little bit of an experiment just to see what it's like, figure out what my recovery is going to be like, you know, do not a deadlift on a Friday, which is like something that's going to feel very rare or different, I guess, kind of get used to it. So I'm going to do that today, something very different, and we'll see what the subject matter during the actual lift will be. But it'll be interesting to see, since today it should be a shorter day, so in theory it should be a shorter video as well. But I'm not 100% sure. I guess I'll have to wait and see when it's all said and done. I am looking forward to testing it out, seeing how it all ends up going, because I mean, really, I have no idea how this upper-lower split is gonna be on my body. It's probably gonna get used to it, but the upper days are a lot more dense than the lower days, which is fine. I'd rather actually have it like that, and that's how it's supposed to be anyway. So I am looking forward to that. Looking forward to the new year, because that's coming up right around the corner. It feels weird going today just because I'm like, oh man, I could have probably slept in today, and I don't think anybody would have been like, oh man, why didn't you go? I was like, nah, I gotta get this in. At least I gotta get something in, because it got me on Wednesday where the laziness got me. So I was like, all right, I can't be lazy the entire week, you know. But got to start building up some slight momentum to go into the new year, you know. I don't want to have to start from completely scratch when it comes to momentum. So I want to just try to get at least some workouts in, start doing some cardio at home, something, so that way when I get to the new year, it's not just a rush of stuff immediately, which is the toughest part, is to try to start from scratch and then just like, you know, get through it like that. Whilst now, if I start a little bit, it's like, all right, it's easier to get into the momentum of things and then just get it all the way through. I am looking forward to seeing how this split goes, because yeah, with how even doing warm-ups this morning, I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to do that because I'm not working that body part, or like things like that, or you know, just like mobility things for things that I don't really need to worry about, you know. That's kind of nice. So I'm like, okay, that makes this a little bit quicker, and now we'll see how long the actual session itself will take. So I am looking forward to that, and then yeah, I'll see you inside. Starting the day off with hack squats on this lower body 2 beta test. Beta testing the new split is interesting, to say the least. I have enjoyed it so far. Beta testing, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a little bit. It had been a while since I've done these, so it felt very, very awkward on my right knee, which was not fun. But once I got to the last set, it felt way better. Chose the back angle for the camera just to change it up a little bit. One of these days I'm going to put it in between, like underneath where the slide goes, just to see what that looks like. I'm very curious. Doing hack squats on a different day also felt very weird. It was like my body was not ready for it yet, but it was still it was not too bad, thankfully, and my knee got better as I progressed. This is where the real beta testing of this new split comes in. I had not done hyperextension ever, really. Just thinking back to it, I don't think I've ever really done them. I think I've done them once, like just genuinely, like one set, one time, just to try them out. And I was not a fan of it, mostly because the placement of the pad was weird and I didn't like the way it felt. My back felt amazing after these, especially my lower back. It felt like I had stretched a part of it that had never been stretched before. So these were amazing. I'm keeping the body weight for a week or two, and then I will move on to actually holding weights. Eventually I'll probably put the easy curl bars on my back and or an actual barbell, depends on the spacing, because it's kind of like in a tight space, which is kind of annoying.
Another point about it being annoying is that it's right next to where one of those stations for the wipes and stuff. So people were coming in and trying to get wipes while I was doing these, and I was like, oh geez, that felt kind of bad. But at the same time, it's something you live and you learn. I also found out it's right next to the seated calf raise machine, so I might end up doing like a giant set on this day. So I could do all three things, including maybe even this as well, because the pull-ups are actually right there as well. So I could probably do a giant set of 4 things all at once, which would make this day go by super quick. It'd probably be done within an hour. These pull-ups, by the way, were beta tested on another day, which was shown, I think, in the previous video, workout video, I should say, Hypertrophy Odyssey video. And I liked these a lot. These were great, and I did not feel them in my shoulder, so the angle change worked out well. I used a spare 45 as like a boost to get up there. Like I said in the previous segment, this version of calf raises might be replaced with seated calf raises, although seated calf raises make my foot hurt, which is a very weird thing to happen. I think that it has to do with the fact that I have barefoot shoes against the metal, but these don't hurt my feet nor my knees. Wow, that sounds like normies. That was funny. That actually got me. Wow. I had to pause recording because that normies thing got me for a little bit. Anyways, to get back to the main subject, basically the next month or 2 is going to be pure experimentation for the most part in the gym, just to see what goes where and when. I did this before I had solidified a plan. I actually didn't have a spreadsheet or anything with all of this stuff when I did this. I had the whiteboard out, so I knew that what it was written out. I didn't have anything to track on this day, so I ended up kind of doing a hodgepodge using the old spreadsheet that I have, and the new one was made at a later date. Now it's in effect, so I can actually keep track of these things. The thing about beta testing things in general is just that I feel like most of the time you kind of have to do that, whether it comes to habits in life or just general trends in your life or just things like that, because I feel like if you don't test it out first, you'll have a tendency to just end up doing something and it will not work out, or you won't get the effectiveness of whatever it is. I think a lot of that has to do with people diving headfirst into stuff without having to think about how it affects their lives, basically. And I know that sounds weird, but I always think about that, especially when it comes to gym stuff or just in general. New year, so you got people doing new stuff and they just jump in without really thinking about the consequences or how it'll affect their lives. Like for me personally, I'm going on a hard cut this year at the beginning of the year, and I know it's going to be tough because I've been there, I've done it before, but there are people that will go straight into 1,000+ calorie deficit with no real prior experience of dieting, and it's kind of like, what are you doing? It's sad to see, that it's not going to work out because these people will jump into something that they don't really know, and as well as exercise, they'll just jump in and do whatever they could see some influencer or something that they read online does for them. And people wonder why things don't work out for them whenever they don't stick to something as well. But I'll say this, there is something to go with certain people. Going cold turkey is a thing. And it makes sense for certain aspects in life where you can go cold turkey on a change or something like that and it works out, but it is very few and far between, especially not with exercise or diet, something like that. Not very good. Also did these leg raises separately because I didn't realize that I would need to do them here because the station I usually use was being full. Also doing them hanging was a nightmare. It's so much extra work. It was like dead hangs plus leg raises. We'll do them again like this, but later when I'm way a little less, and also feel like I'm not looking like an idiot when I'm kicking up. I feel like I look like a monkey or a child that has no limb control whatsoever.
Okay, and we are back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. That was very interesting. My legs feel a little tired, but still pretty good. My back has never felt more different than it has been in a while. Exercise is not filmed, the typical. I'm still probably going to do dead hangs whenever I can, but they're going to be probably only done on the lower body days, just because it looks like I'll have the time for it. Speaking about the time for it, the amount of time that workout took is astonishing. I'm actually shocked right now that I'm getting home this quick. So I'm like, whoa, I'm very, very excited about that. Like that a lot. And this was with me not supersetting every single thing that I could have supersetted as well. So I could have probably taken my time with this a little bit better and been more time efficient even, and made it so I could have probably giant setted a couple of things and been out of there like half an hour earlier, honestly. It was pretty awesome to see. Very much looking forward to actually implementing this. So this will be the typical Friday. I'm gonna think of something like a cool name for each of these. I gotta think of like something with like, because this one has hyper extension, so it has to be hyper, I don't know, like hyper lower body, quad domination, quadruple X, Mountain Dew, KFC, honey mustard. You know, something crazy, maybe a sponsorship or two in there, just because why not? It'd be funny. But I'll have to see. I'll have to use my creative brain. I'm not going to try to use ChatGPT because ChatGPT is just going to give me a fucking alliteration thing. And it works sometimes, but other times it's kind of like, all right, I get it. You're just doing the same thing twice. Got to get the creative brain going. But anyway, overall, pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what like tomorrow is going to be like, my recovery, what my back's gonna feel like over like the next day or two. Changing it up on a Saturday too and just doing cardio is gonna be also interesting. Sunday will still be cardio plus yoga, but you guys aren't gonna get to see that anymore. Maybe one day, I don't know. I did cardio yesterday and yoga without recording it. It felt kind of nice because I was like, okay, I don't have to like be aware of the camera being on at all times and stuff like that. It was nice. I ended up watching Dragon Ball instead of starting Cowboy Bebop since I'm getting back into the motion of things. You know, overall, I am looking forward to implementing the rest of this workout. We're going to see how the upper days go, because if the upper days are too much upper stuff, I might just end up bringing some of the upper things into the lower body stuff. That way, you know, I'm not killing myself on one day and then the next day it's not as much. Obviously, it should be like that technically if you're going to, like, because the upper body is a laundry list, while the lower body is like a notepad basically, or a sticky note worth of stuff. But still, I still need to be careful about how much I'm doing on one day, because then the next day I'll bleed over. I guess we'll see. We're going to see how it pans out, and I'm going to be doing an aggressive cut, so that'll be also fun. I was going to do a slow cut again, but it's the difference between the cut ending in May versus the cut ending in March. So I'd rather do it in March, so that way I can just get it over with and then focus on recomping for the rest of the year. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I will be back on next week with the new split, and I will see you there. Peace.